Hey, good evening to my good peoples. Good evening. Today is Sunday. I am Renee Williams, the host of this broadcast, and we are talking about addiction along with the steps. You know, I want to say, let me open up and give thanks to God. Most precious Heavenly God, thank you for allowing us to be clean, allowing us to work a program that works back for us. Thank you for never giving up on us. Thank you for helping us and strengthening us. And I just give you all thanks. Thank you for another week that we all have stayed clean. And I'm appreciative. I'm grateful at it. My God, how is everyone doing? I wanted to say to you all are the best audience that's looking for something, or I can say something to help you. I'm a builder. I'm a faith. Hey, Laquita, good to see you, baby. I am a person that builds up people. I don't go around necking nobody down, and sometimes I have to take a good look at myself and figure out my attitude and my behavior. What part can I play? And I'm not letting nobody win get over on me to win me from helping myself. And y'all should feel the same way. Hey, to the shout out to the 12-step Narcotics Anonymous program. And I give y'all all praise and all thanks that, the God of our understanding is such a good God. And we're going to talk about step 2. We're going to talk about as soon as I give a shout out to all the ones I seen on Facebook, to all my friends that's celebrating clean time. Congratulations, whether it's just for the day, 30 days, 18 months, 60 days, 90 days, or multiples a year, or a year. I remember when I first got my first year. That was very important to me because I had accomplished something that I thought I never could accomplish. So shout out to you all. Shout out to the counselors and the therapists who do their job very well. That's helping people restore themselves and get their lives back together and understand this disease of an addiction. It don't discriminate. You heard what I said. It don't discriminate. Love you too, Laquita. It don't discriminate against nobody. When that drug wants you to pick it up, that's what you gonna do. It don't discriminate. No color, no race. Hey, Miller Gardner, good to see you too, baby. Hey, we are on step 2. We come to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Well, I'm going to break it down to you all. Step 2. Step 2 saved my life. Step 2 opened some doors for you all too. Step 2 have had you to check yourself and get a relationship with God. The power of God. And when we get clean, we all over the place. When we get clean, we already broken. We was broken. I ain't gonna say because I can identify myself with you all too. Hey, Miss Maddie, my favorite lady. I gotta make sure to call you. I'm gonna call you when I get finished to see if you need some dinner. I love y'all. And ain't nothing nobody can do it when I love somebody. Come to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Okay. We come to believe. Why did we come to believe? We was in a place in our life we didn't have no choice. We had to either get it right, and figure out some things in our lives and realize that we don't have to always stay an addict. It's programs out there. Thank God for the 12 Steps Narcotics Anonymous program. Thank God for the 12 Steps Narcotics Anonymous program. You know, I've learned so much. I've learned so much through these years of being clean and free. And, you know, that's why I love talking about the steps. We came, you know, we as a unity, as people, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves, and that power for me is the God of my understanding. That power is of God. Now somebody else can make something else the power greater than them. I don't see nothing greater than the power of God. We come to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to some sanity. Okay, I need to just stress that why I'm saying that. Because ain't nothing greater than God. And the power that I get from God is the power that got me to get clean and get my thoughts, get your thoughts, get yourself together, turn your life around. That's what it's all about. You know, because see, we understand us addicts that was using at that time and that people still using. We knew it had to be something greater than ourselves to do something for us. You know, change the way we think, change the way we act, change how we believe in something. Hey, my godmother, Carolyn Boyd, I love you too. Good to see you. You looked pretty yesterday. I know who my greater power is because it totally changed my life. It took you and me to believe in something greater than ourselves, because ourselves had let us down. Ourselves wasn't doing nothing for us. Ourselves was getting us in trouble. Ourselves was getting high. Ourselves was lying. Ourselves was committing adultery. I was doing it all. I'm just going to keep it on me. You know, I had to believe because I wasn't believing in nothing. You know, people's died and I used and I was hurt and I couldn't get bounced back up, so I continued to use. You know, no matter what happened in my life, seemed like I was messing up with bad decisions, making many mistakes, and you know, I was at rock bottom. And that's why I am so grateful to be clean. And for the ones that been clean, you know, I salute you, because it takes effort. It takes honesty. It takes surrendering to know something is wrong in your life and to just throw your hands up and say, God, here I am. You know, I can't keep doing this. You know, I'm killing myself. I'm hurting myself. I'm abusing myself. And that's what we do when we continue to use. And so every time I get on Facebook or on YouTube, sometimes I go and visit and I see all these people. You know, I had two people, I don't even know who it was yesterday, text me and say, oh, Miss Williams, I got 18 months. Then another person later on said, Miss Williams, I got 14 days. And I say, what you say? See, that's something to us. It ain't nothing to nobody else, because they don't have that problem. But when you come to believe that a power greater than yourself, then that means you believing in something. You holding on to something. It's got your attention. Something got your attention. Hey, Lorraine, good to see you, baby. Was really glad to see you the other night. You know, we had to come to believe in something. And the person I choose to believe in had more power than me, because now he done restored me to some kind of sanity, because my whole life was messed up. And for a few people that's on here, I know your life was messed up too, and I know many that comes on afterwards, your life was messed up too. That's why they say we come to believe. Everybody got to get on the same accord. Everybody got to do the same thing. You got to surrender. You got to ask God for, you know, grace. You got to ask Him to come into your life and take that addiction away and the urges away. This is what I had to do. But I was broken talking to God and still using. I was still using, dibbing and dabbing and playing Still using. I was broken. Made God so many promises that I couldn't even keep. Made him so many promises that I couldn't even keep. Throwing up, drinking, high. You know, hey, princess, good to see you, baby. High, depressed, anxiety. I was all that. I was everything but well. You were everything but well. And when you come to believe that a power, what is that power? God is my power. You know, some people don't believe in God. So I don't know who your power was that was greater, but something that was greater than yourself restored you and got you back on track again. You know, I heard a guy say, I don't believe in God. I think I told y'all a lot about that in the other stuff I was talking. You know, when I was talking on my other broadcast, and he didn't believe in God. Well, who is your power? Because somebody greater than you coming in these meetings, you know, surrender, so something great, whatever it is. I choose to call my God my greater than. Because I know I wasn't doing it on my own. I just knew that it was some kind of spiritual. Hey, where somebody come fix this fan? Excuse me, y'all, but they got this fan turned backwards. Take that fan and put it on the floor because it's messing with all my plants. Get it off of there. Cut it off, matter of fact. Thank you. I'm sorry. But when we get to a point in our lives where we on bottom, what is bottom? When we want to give up. When we want to give up. We tired of being tired. We tired how people treat us. We tired of how we treated ourselves. We tired of keep using, keep drinking. And you know, I had been tired, but I didn't want to give up. But the power greater than myself came into my life. And I always tell you, you can't do nothing with God. I don't care what nobody else say or do. And you can't do nothing with not believing in something greater than yourself. Is changing you, that's working on you, is delivering you, that's guiding you and helping you. And I had to find myself on the floor, on my knees, many times. I had messed up so much many times. But one day, you'll get it. One day, when that pain get great enough, when that pain kept getting so great for me, I didn't have a choice. I could have continued to use, then I probably wouldn't be on here talking to you all. You know, because see, things get rough when we was up under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Our thoughts was not even ours no more. Our behaviors was off the chain, back and forth over and over again. I totally was an ugly person when I was using. I blamed everybody. I blamed everything. I blamed every person that ever hurted me. And I continued to get high. And I had to invest in me. You got to invest in you. When we came to believe, we start investing. You know, like when we go to the bank, we put money in the bank and we want to invest and we want our money to build. Well, that's what I did when I came to believe that the power greater than myself could restore me. I wanted to invest in me. I wanted me to get richer in spirit. I wanted me to stop using. I wanted me to continue to stop using. So we have to invest in us for us to see the profit. What was the profit? 36 years was the profit. What else was the profit? My life had became manageable. What else was the profit? I started loving people that I had hated. What else was the profit that you can gain when you come to believe that a power greater is got to? When it says greater, ain't nobody greater but one person I know. It says greater than ourselves. Some people say, well, that can be a cheer Or that can, no, not with me. It can't. It can't. Cheer can't talk to me. It can be a statue. A statue can't talk to me. I can't feel no statue. We came. What brought us to that point to where we had to deliver what we wanted for ourselves? Came to believe that I knew when he woke me up this morning and he was telling me don't use no more. I know when he showed me my own casket, the color of it, and you wouldn't believe this right now. And I ain't got to lie. I'm a person that don't lie. I done picked out my casket. I done did my last living testimony. I done got it all together. But the same casket I done picked out from when I leave here is the same casket he showed me in my dream. This is what's going to happen, Renee, if you don't get your life together. Stop letting people's rent free up in your head. Start thinking great things and start doing. So when God came into my life, when we came to believe, all the things that we thought we wasn't worthy of, all the things that we wanted in our life that we thought we couldn't get because of the drugs and alcohol. That's why I said we came to believe. And when you come to believe, many things happen. Lifestyle change. Don't hang around people much. Don't trust everybody much. I'm unbreakable now. I can hurt and I can cry. But ain't nothing going to deter me from ever going back because he restored me to some sanity in my life, in my head, in my life. Because the things that I was doing was not right. And I couldn't keep blaming it on the drugs. 10% is the drug, 90% is us. Our behavior, the way we think, how we think, our impulsiveness, our progression on just not thinking, just doing. I thank God for him restoring us to sanity. Because I really don't think a lot of us would still be here if we didn't. So a power greater than ourselves can do a lot of things. If we move ourselves out the way, and get that connection with the God of our understanding, he gonna bring everything face forward. Everything. He gonna let you see your downfalls, your mistakes. He gonna let you see how unbalanced you is. He gonna let you see how unmanageability you have in your life. So when we came to believe, something happened. when we start to believe in a power greater than ourselves, things start moving. Things start changing. Things start happening. We start to feel a little better than we had already. We was already in the dumps, already broken. So when we come to believe that a power so great that can do and change and help any individual, we never alone. That's what I love about this NA program. We are never alone. We got a secondary family. People just like us that got evicted, that almost lost their mind. Broken down bodies from the drug use and the alcoholism. We came to believe because we knew that it had to be something bigger than myself. I had to. I was tired of going on my self-will. My self-will. My thinking. My ability to even want to change. I had to surrender. So when we surrender, we come to believe that a power that can do something that we couldn't do. What's that, Renee? Stop using. What's that, Renee? Stop Stop hurting people. Stop hurting ourselves. When we come to believe there's something greater than ourselves, a movement started. And it's all over the world. It ain't just in Wisconsin. It's a movement got started when we come to believe that a power greater than ourselves can do the impossible. Restore. Why did I need restoring? Because I was broken. Why did you need restoring? Because you was lost. We was lost. We was broken. We was confused. We was unmanageable. We didn't care about nothing. All we wanted to do, use to live and live to use. Wake up just to get another high. Go to bed high and wake up again, want to be high again. Disappointments over and over in ourselves. Every day I thank God for never taking his hands off of us in this program. And when he restored, when he came into our life, when we came to believe, do you know how much it takes to believe? It don't take much. And if we never would have been in pain, would we ever would have learned how to believe? No, it took us to go through a journey. It took us to go through some things in our lives. It took us to go through some hurt and disappointment and self-harm and abuse to ourselves and to other peoples that we had damaged along the way. So when it comes to believe, that means you opening a door that we had once shut. I shut that door. I wanted to do it my way. I wanted sometimes to die. Who do that? What person want to do that? A person that's hurt, mental illness, anxiety, depression, and broken. That's what person do that. People say, oh, I don't see how people can do that. Well, you ain't in that person's body and you ain't in that person's brain. You don't know what the next person have been through. You don't know what we go through. If you ain't never been an addict, then you would never understand. If you ain't never had depression, you wouldn't even understand. If you ain't never had anxiety and broken and all that merged in one, you wouldn't understand. And most addicts that I know, I've heard them say they was broken. They had reached a turning point in their life. I know I did. And I knew something greater than myself can do better than what I was doing. My thinking had me in a crossroad. Our thinking gets in the way and we start doing selfish things, inconsiderate things, to hurt ourselves and hurt other people because of our pain. So when I hear people say, I hear people say, hurt people's hurt people's. That ain't never been a lie. Because when I was hurt, I wanted everybody to feel what I was feeling. And it had got to a point that I didn't even feel no more. I stayed drunk. We stayed numb. We stayed high. We didn't believe in nothing but the drugs. The drug was our best friend. We had put the power greater than ourselves to the side. The power that could change everything, we had put it to the side. That's why I love this step. We came to believe. What brought us to believe? Neglect on our part. Hurt on our part. We didn't know how to let go on our part. We wanted to drive and be in control and thinking that we could do it all on our own. I was so mistaken. If I didn't have a power greater than me, I wouldn't be here. If I didn't know the God of my understanding, I wouldn't be here. If I didn't believe that something greater, and when that's something greater, when it says, when we come to believe that a power greater, it don't say something greater. It's got to be greater than us. It's got to be. To do all the things that he did when I surrendered and gave up and I started believing. What did believe do for us? Got out of that abusive relationship. Started going to meetings. Start getting us a sponsor. Now something is happening. Something greater right now. The power greater than ourselves is working it out for us. He's doing everything, but we don't see that. We don't see that right then. But he's doing everything for the good for us. Because he wants us to get our lives back. He wants us to get our joy back. He wants us to get our happiness back. He wants us to understand the disease of an addiction come to do one thing: steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what it did to me. I went through all three of them. I'm sure you have too. Sometimes the greatest pain is the pain that we did to ourselves. And then the secondary pain is the pain that we did to our kids. The third pain was letting go and not care. So when we come to believe, that believe word is beautiful, because believing means you letting go. Your guards is up now. You want God to come in. You know, you want him to let you feel something that you haven't felt in a long time, and that's hope and strength and faith. Because we can get low on all three of them. When I was using, I knew what I was doing was wrong. Didn't nobody have to tell me that. But I was running. We be running from something. We be running from self-hurt. Hurt that was did to us. Drama from the past. We were hurt. And I thank God when they wrote this step 2, it didn't say I had to just do it this way. It says we, as unity, as family, all over the world, we came. If I'm coming, if I'm going to a meeting, if I got a sponsor, I'm coming to believe that a power greater than me is doing something in my life. Because I'm not feeling the same way I woke up. You know, some days I would wake up and I didn't even want to, it's just so sad. That's why I told you I don't wish this disease on nobody. Because it'll take you out of yourself. It'll self-grab, it'll self-harm you in a lot of ways. But you numb. You don't even feel what it's doing or how it's hurting you, how it's abusing you. But soon as we came to believe, God started opening doors, started sending the right peoples our way, started helping us do some step work, started helping us work these steps, started helping us feel good about ourselves. A person that was once lost is now found and is doing something that they hadn't did in a long time, and that slowly recover. I love recovery. I love that I can go through anything. You know, I've been going through something for the last 3 or 4 months. Nothing physical, nothing. And I had to restore myself. I had to ask God to come in my life and restore me. Because nothing is going to separate me from the love of God. And I had to do an inventory. You can be clean, I don't care, 2 decades, 1 decade, 3 decades. Sometimes you still, I say for me, most of the times I have to do an inventory where I'm at and why I'm in that place and what's really going on, and look at it. Expectation on other people's. Expectation on other people's can be so strong where you can lose yourself. Expectation on people's. Because I had expectations on some peoples that I genuinely said I loved, and I did. And don't mean I don't love them no more. It just means I have to stay neutral. And it means that I have to continue to love them in order to build myself back where I was. We came. I love that we. He saw enough to gather us all up and come into a unity and where he can help everybody. So that means he don't have a favorite. The same he do for you, same he gonna do for me. He never give up on you. When other people give up on you or throw you to the dogs or think they better than you or think you ain't no good, God will show you the good in you. When your own kids sometimes don't call, grandkids don't call, and you go back and you look in your life and feel and you see you would have put your life on the line for your kids and grandkids. But see, that's pain. But pain helps us to restore us to greater things. Like make movements. Let me move out of this house and go to this house. Let me still love this person, because it says when we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore some stuff. Okay, God, work on me. Work on my thinking. Work in my brain. Come in tune where I can just see good in even the worst of peoples. Or I can see good even in the hurt that I had took on. Now, I wasn't perfect. We wasn't perfect neither. But when we come into the 12-step program, we get better. I know I did. I wanted to really see if this really worked for me. And I'm the living evidence that it does. Because I was damaged. You were damaged. You know, we let people hit us and run over us and abuse us because we was already broken. We hadn't came to believe yet that a power greater than ourselves can do something for us. What? Restore? Restore what? Restore everything that was broken. Restore my thinking, restore my hope, restore my belief, restore my faith, restore my strength, restore my soul. He did all that. When the power, any power that's greater than ourselves, that can do much more than we were doing, we believe. Now we believe. Because we see the evidence. What's the evidence? Well, the evidence is that I don't have to ever pick up another drink the rest of my life because I choose to live today. And not depend on something to help me out because I can't or I don't want to deal with my own personal feelings. So I had to come to believe that something greater than myself was doing something for me that I couldn't even do for myself. Until we change. You can't stay on this world doing the same thing you was doing and not want to change. I know I wanted to change. I was so beat down. I was so broken, in secret, isolating to my own world, my own thoughts. You know, just drinking and getting high so I wouldn't have to feel the day. I can escape everything. I don't need nothing boring me down, so let me just take a drink or let me do some drugs. And then I'm out of space. You know, I thought I was free. I can get free now. I thought. But when I realized when I woke up the next day, I didn't get free from nothing. Only thing for that few minutes that I got free from is the drugs and alcohol, because I didn't have no more. Now I got to think of a lie or think of many lies and other ways to get some money so I can keep on using just for today. And it's sad, but it takes us to another level in our life to know we need help. And unless we want help, we won't never get it. Unless we seek for something greater than ourselves to come into our lives and start restoring our sanity. Our sanity must be not the same as it was when we was using. And I thank God that He know how to restore us. And I know I appreciate how He restored us. He made us look at ourselves and look at everything that we had done to everybody else, where you got family not speaking, ego trip, you know, or you got friends that don't like you because you spoke your opinion. Hey, Cousin Pam, good to see you. I'll see you in a few hours. I love you. God has something greater than me. Something greater than me. I wasn't great. I ain't never been great. I was existing. I was kind of doing things in a better way than I was when I was using, but I ain't never been great. And for this step to say we come to believe that a power. Now, what is that telling you? Power. Man, I need that power. It's greater than me. I need that power. I need that power to come into my life and start restoring some insanity to me. Because I was always all over the place. My mother used to look at me sometimes. She said, baby, she said, I'll be glad when you get yourself together. I knew what she meant. But I did, Mama. My mama saw me clean. My mama saw God restore me to some sanity. Your family members or your sister or your father or your mother or your kids, they saw the God of our understanding restore you. Because the things that your actions is different now. You know, my actions is different now. You know, I'm okay walking with me and God. I'm okay with that. I don't need to validate anybody to love me. And you shouldn't either. Because when the power greater than ourselves start restoring us, then that means He was working on us while He was doing it. That means that everything, every broken part of me, everything I didn't understand, the disease I didn't understand, God started restoring us so we could understand. And we could see our worth. And we could understand why we feel the way we do. We could look at the situation and see what part we play. Oh yeah, something started happening. It says when we came to believe, man, that was the greatest thing I had heard in a long time when I got to that step years ago, and still doing that step every month. Still doing that step. Because I'm always believe that a power greater than me have restored and still restoring. Still restoring us to great things. Finding love again, finding hope again, finding freedom again from drugs and alcohol, finding new friendship, finding a new way to deal with situation when we get up under a situation, showing us joy, restoring us to some joy, showing us some understanding. So when we use that word believe, we're in a great place. Now the door is open. The door is open in a great place for us. Every possibility is starting to happen because we came to believe. That believe word means when I was using, I didn't believe in nothing. Only thing I believe in getting high and having a good day and putting my music on. And that was my life. High every day. If it wasn't weed, it was alcohol. If it wasn't alcohol, it was dipping and dabbing with crack, cocaine. Or taking some kind of pain pill when I didn't have the crack so I could feel a certain way or a certain feeling. I was at the cross point in my life. You was at the cross point in your life. You came to believe something greater than you. Because, we let ourselves down so much. So we had to start building up something to believe that a power, and it's got to be magnificent when they say power. When that a power greater, way greater than me. And I know God is greater than me. I know, that's why I give him all of me. I didn't get clean just to work on the drug. I got clean to work on my attitude and behavior and the way I think and my impulsiveness and progressiveness. And, I open that door to believe that the power greater than me, if you telling me that a power greater than me can restore me to sanity, I need him. I need that. I need that in my life on a daily basis. Because I can, if I wanted to, if I wasn't where I'm at, sometimes people can get in your head and you ain't got no business in letting them get in there, but we do because we human. We human. And I just think about how when I started believing, things started happening. I started paying my bills. I started praying more. I started asking God to move things out of my life and in my life. I started asking God and standing on it. Like I do now, I stand on it. I stand on it because it said I can believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to a better thinking than that I was in before. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I know and have a connection with the God of my understanding that can do all good. Because he's a man only man I know, and the power that I have with this man is that I know he can open some doors that we don't even see him being open. That's that, power greater than ourselves. Something is greater than us. That get us up and get dressed and want to go to a meeting, or we got to run a meeting, or go meet up with my sponsor, or thinking differently, washing my head. Oh man. Looking at me and looking at some of y'all, we wouldn't believe that when we were using, that we didn't even take out time to wash our butt or put some deodorant on, comb my hair, look in the mirror and tell ourselves we love ourselves. I couldn't dare do that. I was a hot mess. I can dress it up. I can put makeup on and make it look like I'm doing okay and I'm feeling okay. But now what you see is real. I'm okay. I am okay. I can finally tell y'all and continue to tell y'all I'm in a good place in my life. And I'm not going to let nothing, that thinking, that insanity thinking come in and change that. I worked on, you worked on, believing that a power greater than ourselves is doing something for us and restore us to sanity. I want to hold on to that. That saved my life. You know, to be honest with you, believing in something greater than me. And for somebody else, I don't know what that is. But I do know that people think they great. They think they the greater person within themselves. I had to believe in something because my thinking was messed up. Every day, sometimes, you know, when we by ourselves or we talk to an individual or we come to believe, and I still come to believe. I'm still coming to believe that anything I ask God for, He gonna give it to me. Everything, the doors will be open instead of being closed. Because every day that you don't drink is the day you clean. Every day you don't use no kind of drug is the day you clean. And I know people, you know, that some of them on here, I know people that used to drink back in the days and had fun and drank it and all that. They don't do that no more. They recovered. Because they don't drink and go to bars and have fun and they don't do that no more. You know, if you want to take a sip of wine at a little party, but see, I can't do that. Because that one little sip gonna start me another sip, another sip, and then I'm gone to the race. That's why I don't even indulge with it. I like how my life feels. I like where God is in our life, restoring us to some sanity on a daily basis. Because sometimes our thinking can get in the way and cause us harm and change in our life. To restore, that means He working on us. That means He building us. He's slowly building us. He working on us. And He restoring us to do good, to think good, to want good, to vision freedom from all drugs. And I thank Him for that. I always tell you I hate this disease. I do. Because any recovering addict that done went through something and you had to come to believe that a power greater than yourself could do some things that we couldn't do and restore us. Restore? You mean put back in us what we had lost? I'm a grateful addict. And every day I act like I'm a grateful addict. Because I know what God done did for me. I know what God done did for y'all. I know what God done did for my friends and my associated that don't use no more. He restored them to something great. Changing the way you think, going back to school, you know, going to work, you know, just being free from drugs, you know. And when God restore, that's a mighty thing He be doing too, because He be working under the scene. He been working while we sleep. He be working when we wake up. Now, what greater power could do that for me? Not me. Not you. So when when we came to believe, then that mean we was searching for something. We was running. We was like taking our time, and we wanted to see the evidence. We wanted to see what could God do for us. What could a power, the greater power, the power greater than ourselves could do for us. Man, it did some things that I probably could have never did if he hadn't restored us to sanity. I can tell you that. I can definitely tell you that. And when he opened the doors for me and for you, he created something very wonderful. Change. Very wonderful was change. And I love when he's doing the restoring, because he's putting something up in us to get bigger and better. We don't see it then, but as he keep working on us, we see the evidence. Like I see my life now. I can see clearly. I can understand how to let go of certain peoples that don't really love me. And that's a hurtful thing too. And when you got kids and they make you feel that way, but I know my kids love me. But sometimes, our friends, I've always been a person that show love. I've always been a person that want you to get a piece of me. And that's what restoring did for me. Not down peoples, not look on peoples, not challenge you to a person identity fight. I ain't with none of that. I'm just gonna be me and stay in my lane. I don't care about other people's getting out their lane, but I ain't gonna let you get out your lane with me too much. Because recovery did teach us to have a voice. And it teaches us and it taught us that we don't have to use no matter what. No matter how our heart broken, no matter how we feeling. Because, we came to believe, that the power greater than ourselves was going to do something for us. And it did a lot. It restored our brokenness. It restored us to our freedom of knowing that, why I used. What was the reason I used? What was I running from? What was the attention that I needed to continue to get high and lie and manipulate? What was the reason? It was all due to I wanted to fix, manage, and control everything on my own. And everything I wanted to fix, manage, and control was not working for me until a power greater than myself came into my life and started making my C pluses go to 8 pluses, because I was in a lower part when I was using. I thought, and I tell you all the time, that I thought that I would die using. That's why God had to show me my own funeral. People think you crazy, but see, you got a clear mind now, and you can see clearly, you can dream clearly, you can think clearly, because we don't have no drugs of evidence in our body to say that it was the drug that showed us that. Ain't no drug showed me. Well, the drugs did show me my funeral, because I was in a place in my life where I wanted to die. Because disappointment after disappointment after disappointment started to get to me. But when I came to believe, when I came in treatment, and I came to believe that, and I was a person that was scared of God. And I had to understand that's the power greater than myself. And I had to understand why I was scared of God. God don't do no wrong. He don't hurt nobody. He restored what's been broken. He restored us to sanity. And I had to understand that the reason why I was scared of God, because I didn't want to disappoint disappoint God again. Over and over we did that. Over and over we made promises we couldn't keep. Over and over we lied to ourselves and lied to Him. But He's such the power greater than ourselves taught me that anything that I call greater than myself can do the things for me that I didn't do for myself at that time. Was amazing. He amazing how He can take a drug dope fiend, an addict, and start letting them come to believe that a power greater than ourselves can do something for us. Hey, Latrice, to do good to see you, baby. Good to do something for us. You know, we had to go through a whole lot to come to believe. To believe means something is, the light bulb done went up. Something is going on with us. Something is moving within us and changing within us. And when we get to the point that we came to believe, that means we done let go of some things. Turning it over. I had to turn everything over. I had to turn my thoughts, my mind, my way over to the power greater than me. And guess what? I didn't even have a problem. That last dream, next day, I was in treatment. I had gave up. I had surrendered. I was a praying addict. I mean, I was a praying addict. I remember I used to get high and would sit there. I was a sick addict. And I would be praying and asking God, please, you know, God, I'm sorry. You know, I can't stay clean. God, please, don't hurt me. I mean, my thinking was messed up because I had failed. Then I had to understand why all them thoughts and everything that be going on with us as addicts, when we be using or being up under the influence of drugs and alcohol, it was our thinking. We came to believe. I'm so glad y'all came to believe that a power greater than yourself could restore. And it's evidence. That's what I like about this step. It shows evidence. Evidence shows up. Thank God that I ain't what I used to be. I know y'all thank God you ain't what you used to be. And you might not be what somebody else think you should be. But you won't, you gotta thank Him for what God know you could be. And I love that. I love that. I changed all the scenarios because we started changing everything because we wanted better. And God knew we wanted better, so He helped us start to believe in the power greater than ourselves could do some things for us. And I thank God for that. I thank God we come to believe that's a good step too. Power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Get out of that craziness, get out of that way of thinking, and He brought us some hope, and He started restoring our insides of the way we think, and that was the greatest thing. That's why I love this step, because it started making me believe that a power, somebody bigger than the universe, bigger than me, can do some things, and it did. And I'm evidence. I'm here. The evidence is right in front of y'all. You know, thank y'all so very much for, you know, for being a part of my process, and thank you for and loving me. Even if I don't see y'all, thank you for loving me. If I don't talk to you that week, thank you for loving me. You know, and I love all of you all. I love everybody that I come in contact with, because I know what it is to hate or don't like. So I had to grow to love. Well, that's what that came to believe. Help me out. Holding on grudges, holding on resentments, holding on hurt. And now I ain't got to do that no more. So I'm in a good place. Y'all is too. I love you. And if ain't nobody never told you I love you, next week we will be on step 3. We made a decision to turn our life and our will over to the cares of God as we understood Him. This is an amazing step right here. This step going to take you to so many different points, steps in your life. And I like this step because it puts us in a whole different direction, help us do a whole lot of different things, help us to understand who we dealing with, the God of our understanding. And so I'm going to be ready for this step because this step brought me some life and it had me to understand why and what and the reason why I did the things that I did. So if ain't nobody never told you they loved you, y'all have a blessed rest of Sunday. We getting into a whole nother week. And y'all continue to pray for the ones that misuse you or abuse you or don't love you. That's where your strength come from. And long as you don't use, you can change anything, any mind, anything you can change. Long as you believe that a power greater than yourself is doing what He's doing. And I know He is. Thank y'all so very much for loving on me. That keeps me going. I ain't going to stop, but it keeps me going. And I thank you for that. If ain't nobody told you that they love you today, tell them that Renee says she loves you. And we always close out with the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage, you hear that? The courage to accept the things that I can. And the wisdom. I can't change nothing. The wisdom is there because we building, we got history, we learning. So God, you're always there. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change and the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God bless you. Y'all have a beautiful next week. Stay safe and be true to yourself and understand yourself because you are worthy. Everybody on here, everybody that's going to come on here, you are worthy for change and good change. God bless you. Talk to you later. I love everyone on here and talk to you later. One of y'all, I'll see y'all in a little bit. Good evening.